Greetings, everyone. My name is Sheila Sales, and during this presentation, I will be discussing the HBO series Insecure and its portrayal of mental health, particularly for Black women. We will explore how media representations can both help and harm perceptions of mental health, the dangers of misinterpretation, and why accurate portrayals matter. So let's dive in. For those unfamiliar, Insecure is a comedy drama created by actress, director, writer, comedian, and producer Issa Rae that explores the lives, relationships, and careers of Black women. While groundbreaking in its humor and authenticity, the show also depicts a lot of anxiety, avoidance, and humor as coping mechanisms, something rarely seen in mainstream media. However, without proper context, non Black audiences might misinterpret these portrayals, reinforcing those stereotypes or oversimplifying the systemic barriers Black women face. Insecure has a way of subtly reinforcing the idea that therapy is unnecessary for Black women, like when Issa's mirror raps replace professional self reflection, or when character struggles are dismissed as those natural resiliences. Psychological research confirms that while humor and avoidance offer temporary relief, they are maladaptive long term and fail to address systemic barriers like stigma or culturally incompetent care. This portrayal also risks misleading non people of color audiences into believing that this is how Black people handle stress, again, perpetuating harmful stereotypes and obscuring the need for equitable mental health solutions. So, when examining the cross cultural perceptions, it is important to recognize how other races or cultures might misinterpret experiences unique to Black women. For example, a colorblind perspective might claim everyone deals with stress like this, and this overlooks those racialized stressors such as microaggressions. Similarly, stereotyping Black women as just sassy or resilient or angry can also ignore their vulnerability and the mental health burdens they face. This is especially relevant to shows like Insecure, because without the proper context, its humor might mask the deeper critique it offers about the systemic pressures on Black women's mental health. Understanding these nuances is key to avoiding the reductive interpretations. So, to understand why this stereotype persists, we need to confront its roots, a legacy of systemic racism and media misinterpretation. Historically, the myth of Black resilience was born from slavery, where the dismissal of Black pain became a tool of oppression. As the traumatic impact of structural racism on African Americans demonstrates, this trauma did not end with the emancipation. It evolved into modern healthcare disparities where Black patients are still half as likely to receive adequate pain treatment. This is not just data, it is a lived experience that reinforces the dangerous idea that suffering silently is strength. Media tends to amplify this problem through both what it shows and what audiences choose to watch. Research reveals that white viewers are 2.3 times more likely to watch Black characters in disparaging comedy and action roles rather than therapeutic roles. And what this does is it incentivizes studios to keep portraying Black people as naturally strong rather than showing them receiving care. While shows like Insecure make progress by depicting characters like Molly navigating therapy, most portrayals still have Black characters solving mental health struggles alone through humor, avoidance, or just sheer willpower. Now, rarely do we see them receiving and benefiting from professional care. And this creates that cultural catch 22 where communities are taught not to seek help, and when they do, they face a system that historically underestimates their pain. So, what is the result of that? a generational cycle where trauma compounds while proper care remains out of reach. However, here is what we can do. True resilience is not about enduring pain, it is about transforming it. And that transformation begins when we reject these stereotypes and demand care that sees, believes, and heals Black pain. Representation matters because it validates the barriers faced by people of color while offering non-people of color a window into those experiences, which they might not otherwise understand. However, it can also be a double-edged sword. For example, Insecure provides Black women with nuanced, relatable roles, a privilege often denied in mainstream media. Yet, the progress comes with pressure, as the show is sometimes expected to speak for all Black mental health experiences, when in reality, it's just one story among many. In Insecure, Molly's therapy journey and Nathan's mental health storyline present both accurate and incomplete aspects of mental health representation. From a movie reel perspective, Molly's arc, beginning in season 2, episode 2, Hella Questions, portrays therapy as a valuable tool for self reflection. She discusses workplace challenges with her therapist, who encourages her to question rigid expectations, and this is often framed in her repeated use of the word should. This mirrors a real world therapeutic approach where cognitive reframing is used to challenge those unhelpful thought patterns. Nathan's revelation on Nathan's revelation of his bipolar disorder in season 4 and the subsequent discussions about stigma within the Black community reflect challenges many individuals face in opening up about mental health. From a real world perspective, these portrayals touch on, but do not fully explore systemic barriers such as affordability of therapy, cultural stigma, and the shortage of culturally competent providers. So Molly's ability to attend regular sessions indirectly suggests financial access that is not always the reality for many in the real world. Similarly, while Nathan's disclosure is impactful, the show gives limited screen time to his coping strategies, treatment, or the broader support that he receives socially, which is often crucial for managing bipolar diagnosis. So, how do we fix this? First, we educate, educate, educate. Do you know that 1 in 3 Black adults with depression do not seek help? This is not because they do not need it. It is because stigma, historically relative distrust, and intentionally implemented systematic barriers. Share the facts. Therapy works. It is not just about talking, and it is evidence-based care. Normalize those conversations. Talk openly about mental health. Talk about it in the barbershop. Talk about it at your churches, with your families. Second, we need to amplify accurate media. Support shows, podcasts, and books that depict Black mental health realistically, like Therapy for Black Girls or Insecure's later seasons, where Molly goes to therapy. Push for more realistic stories where Black characters seek help and thrive because of it. Challenge myths. Resilience doesn't mean suffering alone. Needing help does not mean you failed. Reframe therapy as preventative care, not just a crisis of care, like going to the gym for your mind. Highlight Black therapists and advocates like Dr. Joy Harden Bradford to show representation matters. I would like to thank you for taking the time to listen to my presentation. And if you or someone you know is struggling with your mental health and or at risk for suicide, please call 988. And if you are in the position to help educate or advocate, do it.